The battlefield burned under a dim red sky. Smoke rolled across shattered ground where broken tanks and alien machines lay scattered like bones of a fallen army. I lay behind a ruined defense barrier, gripping my rifle while my heart pounded against my ribs. The war with the Kareth had lasted 3 brutal years. 3 years of desperate battles across dozens of worlds. 3 years of humanity fighting an enemy that was stronger, faster, and far more advanced. Yet somehow we were still here, still fighting, still refusing to disappear. The last battle for this planet had been raging since dawn now. The ground was quiet. To quiet, my squad had been wiped out during the last push across the valley. The channel was filled with static, and the only movement I could see across the battlefield was Hera, single Kareth warrior. She stood in the open among the wreckage. Still, her dark armor was cracked and burned from combat. Blue blood ran slowly down one arm. Her weapon was lying several meters away in the dirt. That alone made no sense. Kareth soldiers never abandoned their weapons. Never. I rifle and aimed carefully. The distance between us was not for own. Clean shot, that was all it would take. She looked directly at me. Her silver eyes reflected the glow of distant fires. There was no fear in them, no anger, just something calm. Then she did something that made my finger freeze on the trigger. The alien warrior slowly closed her eyes, not in panic, not in surrender. She simply closed them and stood there on the battlefield like someone listening to a quiet song. I waited. Every instinct told me something was wrong. Maybe hidden drones, maybe a trap, maybe a final attack, but nothing moved. The battlefield remained silent except for the distant crackle of burning wreckage. My unit suddenly burst with static. A weak voice came through. Sergeant Hale, it was Lieutenant Armon from the command unit. Hale, report enemy movement. Magtev, I said. One Kareth soldier in the open, no weapon standing. Still. Then why are you not firing? Because she just closed her eyes. There was a long pause on the channel. Sergeant, that makes no sense. Take the shot. I kept my rifle aimed, but something felt wrong. The alien did not move, did not even open her eyes. It felt like she had already accepted whatever would happen next, and for some reason that made the trigger feel heavier. Take the shot, the lieutenant repeated. I lowered the rifle. Slightly negative. I am approaching. The lieutenant shouted something angry, but I removed the unit from my ear. The battlefield stretched wide and broken as I walked slowly across the ground. Each step crunched against metal fragments and scorched dirt. The alien warrior remained completely still. Eyes closed. When I stopped a few meters away, she finally spoke. Your footsteps are careful. Her voice was calm and deep. You expected me to shoot? I said yes. Then why close your eyes? She opened them slowly. Because the battle is finished. Glanced across the ruined valley. Destroyed vehicles, bodies of both species drifting through the red sky. This does not look finished. She shook her head slightly. Above this world, the Kareth command ship has fallen. Your strike destroyed our central network. Without it, our fleets cannot coordinate. The war on this planet ended minutes ago. I felt a chill move through my chest. No one had told us that. How do you know? I was linked to the command network, she said. When it died, I felt the silence. Silency looked around the battlefield. Among my people, we believe every battle has a sound, the sound of survival, the sound of anger, the sound of warriors refusing to fall. When that sound disappears, that all is over. I frowned. So you closed your eyes to listen, you said. You just stood here, waiting. She studied me for a moment. Waiting for the one who defeated Blink defeated you 2 hours ago. You destroyed our shield relay on the northern ridge. Your aircraft used that opening to strike our command ship without That attack, this battle, would still rage. Memory flashed through my mind. The long sniper shot across the valley, the relay tower collapsing. You saw that Eastry stepped forward slightly. The Kareth respect warriors who changed the course of battle. I wanted to see the one responsible who crossed a battlefield just to meet me. Esavon, knowing I might shoot you. She nodded calmly. A warrior must accept death, but today I was curious about humans. Curious. For years we studied your species, she said. Your technology is weaker, your bodies are fragile, yet your armies keep surviving battles they should lose. Why? Shrugged slightly. Because we are stubborn. That is not the full answer, she said. I watched you through the battlefield cameras. Earlier you saved 2 wounded soldiers. Even while under fire, you took the relay shot while enemy drones surrounded your position. Most species would retreat, humans advance. Why? Thought about it for a moment. Because someone has to. Her silver eyes narrowed slightly. Interesting. A distant roar suddenly echoed through the sky. Drop shipshaman, ones they were, descending from orbit. My unit crackled again. All human forces stand down. Enemy fleet retreating. Repeats. Down, down. Victory conferred. Die stared at the alien warrior. She looked back calmly. Now you hear it, she said. Hear what? The silence. I listened carefully. For the first time in hours, there were no explosions, no distant gunfire, just wind moving across broken metal. The battlefield truly was quiet. She slowly lowered herself onto a piece of shattered armor, the exhaustion finally visible in her posture. What happens to you now? I asked. Your soldiers will arrive soon, she said. I will become a prisoner. Then one day this war will end and I will return home. She looked toward the sky where human dropships were growing larger. Before that happens, she said, I want to understand something. What? She looked directly into my eyes. Why did you not shoot when I closed my eyes? You had every advantage. I thought about the moment again, the calm way she had stood there trusting a stranger not to fire. Because you trusted me, I said. Trust is rare in war. She was silent for a long moment. Then she gave a small nod. Among my people, warriors earn respect through strength. Today I learned humans earn it through something else. What? Chusiu chose not to fire. That changed this moment. The drop landed nearby, sending dust and smoke across the battlefield. Human soldiers began running across the valley, securing the area. Some of them stared in surprise when they saw me sitting beside the alien warrior. One of them shouted, Sergeant Hole. Step away from the enemy, stood slowly. The alien warrior remained seated calmly before the soldiers reached us. She spoke one last time. Sergeant Halley, yesterday you showed me something unexpected about humanity. What is that? She looked across the silent battlefield. In the middle of war, you still choose who you become. The soldiers reached us seconds later and surrounded the area, but as they took her into custody, she looked back once and far. The first time since I had seen her, the alien warrior smiled. Because on that battlefield, when she closed her eyes, both of us had discovered something neither species expected. Humanity was far more dangerous than any weapon, because humans could win a war and still choose mercy. Asterisk.